Velocity hydraulic piston rebuild kit consists of a spacer so that when it's time to put this back into the system, you can eliminate those two washers that are alongside here. And all you have to do is slide this over here, and that will replace the two washers that you currently have in place. If you don't have the washers, it's okay, just don't use this, but that will take care of that piece. Next is two assembly tools. Diameters are different. This larger one is for the main piston, the smaller one is for the nose gear piston. They're identical except for the inside diameter for the shaft. So what's important to note is that when they're assembled correctly, there's no space here. But if you have it backwards, you will see a space. This is incorrect. So when you're putting it together, you want it to be flush in this regard. Okay. Purpose of this is to compress this seal. As you can see, there's an inner spring, and if you look closely at the one that you have, it's tapered. This diameter, the larger diameter, always has to go towards the inside, and this backing ring assembly goes this way. So if this goes into this groove easily, which it would if you drop it in, it's backwards and it's going to leak. That's what this tool is all about. So the way it needs to go together is onto the shaft. Even putting it on is a little bit snug. It does not go in easily because of the taper. So this tool is to compress this and slide it in so that's easier to do. So, okay. Now, to make this work, let's get things together first. So, inside the cylinder, there's a snap ring groove, one at either end. Let's see if we can get it in there properly. All right. So, clean out the groove for the snap ring. This one has a ring so that we can slide this piston with the O-rings across this groove without getting stuck. Now this one has been removed, and you're going to see that these are single-use rings. Sometimes the rings are not the same depth. So here in the kit, there will be three sizes. They have a 0.1 millimeter depth or thickness variation. The idea is to put the ring into the groove, the one ring that makes it as smooth as possible. And then this O-ring and the backing ring will slide across it, and then we can remove it. The simple thing I've done is with a straight pin, you reach in and you pop this out. So, all right. Now, this one has been damaged, so it's a test. Make sure that if the spacers are different, make sure that you're putting it together correctly. Okay, because obviously you can only use these rings one time, but when you take it out, it's going to get damaged. Here you can see I have cut the ring. These rings come to you continuous, and you'll have to cut them, and what you'll want to do is take just a slight amount out, so make it easier to remove. So in this case, you can see that there's a difference in space for the hole. Your fitting, hydraulic fitting, threads through here. Okay. Okay, and then this one is where the piston goes through, and it allows for, allows for this ring to go in, and then the snap ring holds this in place. Okay, now if the event is that you inadvertently damage what you've got, and you can actually cheat the system. Now this one here is for this end here, and this is going to line up and allow the snap ring to sit on top of it. But I damaged this one, so let's take advantage of this one here and put this in place. But you can actually go in, if this is for here, you can just slide it in and it'll go across that ring, and then you can shove this one all the way down. Okay, just make sure you're assembling it correctly. But for now, we're just going to focus on putting this together. So you put the piston in, and you want to choose an area. You don't want this to be bottomed out, because when you put this ring on, it's going to pinch the shaft and it's not going to want to move. If you pull on it too hard, once this is in place and you pull this, it's going to pull this out of the groove, and then you'll have to start over. So we have the assembly. So first thing we'll do is we'll put this piece on, and if you want, you can even make sure you start out correctly. You can put the whole thing on, slide this piece off, make sure that the spring is towards the shaft or the inside of the piston. Slide it on and get it in, and then bring this piece together. And this will help to bottom it out. It's going to be tight. The idea is to get this flat. And you'll see that this is not moving. And if it's crooked, you reposition it. The idea is to get this ring flattened out and lined up. So initially, here we go. The idea of this one is now we can push it together and watch. Snaps together, and then we remove this piece, and that O-ring is nicely seated. Now, with this ring in place, we can then slide our piston, which will have rings on it. It'll be slide through, and then this one, you'll want to use a little bit of hydraulic fluid as a lubricant. In this case, I'm just going to do it dry, and you'll see that it will just slide across. There's the rings. Get my alignment. Well, in this case, as long as we don't move this shaft relative to this ring, it'll stay in place. We can drop this in place, push it down a little bit, and get the snap ring in. Well, in this case, we still have to reach in and pop this out. And then we can put the snap ring in.